Hi, today I'm going to tell you my the top three E's that you need to know before you plan a weekend hiking trip. So, the number one E is, I'm just looking at my notes. Can I just show you my awful notes? This is because I have a toddler. He just scribbles over my notes and they're already scruffy. Number one is you have to know your equally exciting alternative. Okay, so I'll explain. Let's say you are going to the Lake District and you're going for a weekend. In order to get the cheapest train tickets or to get a good reasonable deal that you're happy with, you have to book it in advance. If you just turn up on the Friday, it's going to be really expensive, which obviously you can do, there's nothing to stop you doing that, but usually you would be wanting to book it in advance. So you've got somewhere in mind. Let's say you're staying in Ambleside and you've got some mountains in mind that you want to climb. So you've got your heart set on climbing Fairfield, the Fairfield Horseshoe, which is a famous walk in around that area, which would tick you off loads of fells. Okay, so you're like, right, it's the weekend, it's 4 weeks away, I'm going to do the Fairfield Horseshoe, I'm going to climb Fairfield, I'm going to tick that off my list. What if the weather is awful? What if the weather is awful? What are you going to do? Are you going to just carry on regardless and possibly even put yourself in danger? Or are you just going to give up and go, oh, sit in the pub all day in Ambleside, which would be a nice thing to do as well, don't get me wrong, but you're just going to be really fed up because you can't do what you had your heart set on doing. You can't put yourself at risk just because you had your heart set on doing this one thing. Equally, you don't want to just sit there being really depressed and fed up because you can't do the thing and you're like, oh gosh, I wasted all this money getting here and I can't climb Fairfield, I can't do a Fairfield Horseshoe. The other reason this might happen is if you, let's say you do a really good walk on day one and your second day, Sunday, you like twist your ankle, or, well, maybe not twist your ankle, but you're really tired, okay, so you don't, for some reason you don't want to do what you originally planned to do. What are you going to do instead? This is why you have to have your equally exciting alternative, which is essentially your plan B or your plan C. So if you're going on a weekend hiking trip with the express intention of hiking a particular mountain, then you need an alternative, which is going to make you feel as much a sense of achievement as hiking the mountain would do. This doesn't really apply if you are walking a trail, if you're going from A to B, because generally you would still be able to carry on even in bad weather on trail walking. But so this is mostly an issue if you are going to climb hills and fells and mountains. So yeah, you need your equally exciting alternative, and in Walk Your Weekends that is what I have done, where I recommend a weekend walk to you, but I also give you different alternatives that you can do if for some reason you can't do what you originally planned to do, so you won't feel like the whole weekend is a waste, but you'll do something equally as good. So always have your equally exciting alternative. The second E is know your escape routes. So I always look at the route before I walk it, which is like pretty common sense. And because I often walk on my own, I'm quite conscious of safety. And because I have been drenched out walking in the rain so many times, I'm also conscious that I might need to adjust my route. You always have to be very flexible about the route you're going to do. You can't be very set on your route when you're walking fells, mountains and hills. So you need to know your escape routes. So look at the map, look at your route, your ideal plan A route, and then work out where you could come off the route if you needed to. So if you got an injury, or if you just got really fed up and you're too drenched, or you just need to stop for some reason, or maybe it's taken longer than you thought it would and you need to get down into the valley to get the bus that will take you back to the train to get back home to London. So you need to know all of this in advance. So you need to know your escape routes. And obviously in Walk Your Weekends, I give you your escape routes for each walk. several different points I will point out places where you can choose to carry on or choose to come down. So the third E that you need to know when you are weekend walking is your ETA, your estimated time of arrival. And that is because you are relying on public transport. And you might be getting a bus, or you might just be walking to a train station to catch a particular train. You need to know in advance the train times, you need to know in advance the bus times. You need to have one in mind, because obviously, as you already know, in the rest of the country, the buses, you can't just turn up to a bus stop and just wait for a bus. Although I did try that once in Burnieside in the Lake District, and I was waiting there for half an hour, and this woman drove up and said there aren't any buses tonight, and it was something like 6 p.m. and I was like, what? Really? Thank you for telling me, because I was just made the assumption that there must be a bus, I'm just going to wait for the next bus, I'll just wait here. But there wasn't any buses, so I could have been waiting there all night. So you need to know they're not going to be very frequent. You need to know, and you need to make sure that you're going to get there for that bus. And I rely on public transport to get back to London from really remote places quite often, which is weird because I am one of those people who actually has nightmares about missing my train and what would I do if I miss the train? Oh my gosh. And I'm always one of those people who likes to be at the train station half an hour before the train goes, you know? I don't know if you're like that. You're either like that or you're not. You're either like really relaxed and you just go, yeah, we've got 5 minutes, there's no rush. I need to be there, you know, 15 minutes before, I need to be there ready, and then I feel calm. So, but even I have come to do a walk, get the bus to the train, to another bus, change the bus, get on another bus, get to the train station and come home. And I'm comfortable with that. But in order to do this, you need to know your ETA. So you need to know how long the route is going to take you. You need to know how fast your walking speed is. And I have found through experience that it's really easy to overestimate how quickly you are going to be walking. So you may already know that I like to estimate my walking speed at 2 miles per hour. And I'm sorry, I work in miles, not kilometres, so I will put, well, I'll work it out and I'll tell you below the video what kilometres is. Which most people would think seems really slow, and even people who have done less walking than me have been like, 2 miles an hour, I estimate 3 or 4. Yes, you can walk 3 or 4 miles an hour, but from experience, that's a rough estimate that I use to plan out my day and to work backwards from when I need to get the bus. It gives me time for my lunch, it gives me time for getting lost, it gives me time for contingencies, it gives me time for just having a rest and looking at the view and taking it all in. So I work backwards from when the bus that I think I need to get, add on another 15 minutes because I like to be at the bus stop for 15 minutes, and sometimes there isn't even a bus stop there. Sometimes there's no bus stop, you just need to know where to get the bus. And if you join Walk Your Weekends, that's what we'll tell you is where to get the buses where there are no bus stops or bus signs. So I like to be there 15 minutes before, and then I work backwards. So 2 miles per hour, and my walk is however long it is, and then I work out what time to set off in the morning, and then I try and set off a little bit earlier as well. Because you never know what's going to happen. And because you are away from London and you're really reliant on getting that train back and getting that bus back, that is how I do it. So those are my 3 E's. And if you are interested in Walk Your Weekends, where I give you all the practical information and logistical information and support to walking 10 amazing weekends around Britain, you'll find more information below the video. Yeah, so I hope to see you there, but I hope this has given you some ideas for planning your next weekend hiking trip. Thank you very much.